So if you are relatively unknown in the market space, meaning that you don't have a brand, personal brand, business brand on social media, you might primarily be relying on either referral or outreach for generating your clients and customers. And you want to close more of those customers, then this video is for you, because I will explain a little bit about how I do it, a little bit different, and why it works really, really well. You can get it to around an 80% close rate. Before we go into this, I want to kind of emphasize that this is not about high pressure sales and close techniques. I don't like those. It's more about the way and the process and the method and the approach to which you interact with your clients. And we're also going to look a little bit into why it works so well and why in general these typical strategy session doesn't really work that well for coaches and consultants, and why that is so let's start by looking into the general problem here. Now, a lot of coaches, consultants, or other experts or knowledge workers that provides a service for clients. The typical way to sell these is you can either be marketing driven or sales driven. So marketing driven means that you have people come to you by having content or material in the marketplace that pre-sells your customers so they reach out to you. Now that could be a personal brand, business brand on social media. It could be ads that drive people to a page, or it could be content ads, right? That's the general approach. The other aspect of this is that you have a sales driven business where you reach out to people, cold or warm leads, do prospecting, you get people on a call, and then you convert them there. Now, let's talk a little bit about the dynamics behind this. So, basically, a marketing driven approach means that you pre sell people by putting content out in the market space that lets people know who you are, what you do, how you do it, and why you do the things you do. Personal brand, right? People spend time in your company in a one-to-many format because it's out there, right? A lot of people can watch one video like you're doing right now, and they can basically get to know you through that video material. Long form predominantly. Shorter form videos and content is to hook attention. That won't necessarily convert them, right? Long form video materials and content is to build up that know, like, and trust factor. They spend time together with you or in your world, and that is what leads to the conversion, right? We talk about 27, 30, 40 touch points in the customer journey before they buy. They will research you, they will look you up, and they will pre-sell themselves if you put out the right type of content. So basically your sales call, optimally, you won't even have a sales call. You just send a payment link. But if you hop on a call with people, it's more like an enrollment call or an application call where you basically accept or deny their application to, or they're asked to become your customer and work together with you, right? That's smooth, and it works really, really well once that is optimized. But that is a longer term play, right? We all know organic, and even when you enhance it with and boost it with ad spend, and you do retargeting, remarketing campaigns that drive people to the content that you want to watch, it's typically a longer term play. And you should, if you aren't doing it already, you should transition into that. That's why I'm doing it right now, building the personal brand, because now I have the opportunity to do it. There was some circumstances that didn't allow me to do that before, but now I can do it. And so, of course, I'm going to do it because a personal brand is the only long-term sustainable thing where there's no competition, literally. No one can compete with you on a personal brand level because there's only one of you, right? Magic. Perfect. So you want to have that in place, right? And if you have that in place, that's also going to enhance and improve the sales call you have with people that you generate through outreach, right? Because if you both have content in place, you have ads in place, you are retargeting people, you are running cold email to people if you're doing B2B, it kind of reinforces and enhances itself because you are everywhere. So the exposure is bigger. They spend more time together in your world, in your presence, which means that a relationship is formed, right? And people buy from people. Of course, the offer has to be on point, it has to be valuable, it has to fit them. The timing also has to be on point, which means that they need to be in a place where they're ready to buy what it is you provide. And then ultimately, you will be present in their world and they will convert. Now, what if you don't have content out there? What if you don't have a personal brand out there where people can get to know you and spend time in your presence? What if you only run ads? That's going to be problematic, right? If you only run ads, because they won't spend enough time together with you that they trust you, right? If you have a very clear, tangible offer, this is what it is, I can prove that it works. Do you want to buy it? Of course, money can exchange hands, right? You can have funnels and pages for that with video material and conversion mechanisms like a VSL or a webinar or workshop that can be automated and evergreen, or you can host live workshops. Once again, those are longer form content where people spend time in your presence, which means that you get to establish your credibility and your proof of concept. They get to know, like, and trust you, and they want to spend time with you. They want you to be the guy that provides the solution for them, right? Because there is multiple players in whatever solution it is that you provide. There will be multiple players that can do the same. So your personality, who you are as a person, and that they actually want to spend time together with you, and that you come across as both competent but also confident and likable, actually matters a lot. Why? Charisma actually matters. Well, yeah, what a surprise. But if you don't have that in place, right, then what do you do if you're a new player? If you have skills and you can actually help people and provide a valuable service, then you have to get people to spend time with you on that call, right? And that is why if you're running ads or running outreach to a book call, and then that book call is a strategy session, that's really a disguised sales call where you're hard pitching them, trying to use these high pressure, hard closing techniques, it's not gonna fucking work. It's just not. So if you're like on a half an hour sales call, you call it a strategy session, and you just go buy, 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 buy because this is so great, people are not gonna fucking buy, man. It's like too pushy, man. It's not gonna, you're gonna have a very low close rate, right? So how do you get across that? Well, there's only actually one thing to do. You need to extend the time that people spend with. Oh, quick interjection here. A lead magnet, written lead magnet or whatever, is actually also a long form conversion mechanism. That's very helpful. You should have a lead magnet. You should have multiple that you can provide for your customers to show your expertise. Anyways, on the sales call, right? I want you to let's look at typically what makes people buy before we dive into that sales call. So people need to be convinced that you can actually help them. And there's different types of proof, right? There can be you telling them, right, that you can do what it is that the service you provide. You can say, I'm really good at this, right? That's you telling them. It's coming from the outside towards them, from you, right, to them. So they're receiving it directly from you, and you are telling them that you are good. And you can be incredibly convincing, and you can be, have very good rapport with them and have very good communication skills, but it's still the lowest possible, like the least effective way to get people to buy into what it is you have, right? To convert them. Second one is if someone else, right, is telling them that you can do these fantastic things, right? Case studies, testimonials, social proof, right? Someone else is vouching for you, the result you can get them. And ideally, these other people that are vouching for you and the result you can get them they can project themselves into these case studies, into these testimonials. They will say, I'm like this guy that he helped. This guy, this guy that he helped had the same problem that I have. He has helped that guy, and now the problem is solved, right? They project themselves into the case study, into the testimonials, and that kind of forms that connection, and it gives them a proof of concept. And they say, well, all of these people say that he can do whatever it is he does, so he must be really good. And they convert, right? So at the bottom, you telling them, being persuasive. Up the pyramid, someone else vouching for you, telling them that you can do what it is you do, right? But there's still more. A higher level or a higher tier is if you can actually demonstrate to them, right, that you can do what it is you do. Think about the old TV shop commercials, right, with the knives, and they pull up this knife and they cut a hammer into or whatever, or a can, right? Look at how sharp this knife is. It can slice open a tomato or a can or whatever, right? Proof of concept, right? You demonstrate it. An actual dramatic demonstration, this is the terminology, of your product or service, right? A little bit higher. Very, very valuable proof because you prove it to them, right? Now, even more so than that, there is a higher tier. It seems almost impossible, but there's a higher tier than that because all of these different types of proof, right? You telling them that you can do what it is you do, someone else telling them, vouching for you, telling that you can provide the service, you showing them a dramatic demonstration of proof of concept, it's all external. The highest form of proof is internal proof, which means that you help them solve whatever problem it is they have, or a piece of it, a milestone. And now it's undeniable. It's completely undeniable because you might look at that TV shop, you might say, oh, well, I feel like he's full of shit. I don't know him, right? That's me trying to convince you. You say, well, he's full of shit. I don't know him, right? Who is he? Okay. Next level. Someone else say that I could do whatever it is I'm telling you that I can do. Well, you might think, well, all those people might be fucking AI generated or he paid them off, right? Next level. I have this sharp knife. I'm cutting open the can of tomatoes, right? And you might think, well, it's not a real can of tomatoes. It's actually made out of plastic or some shit. It's fake, right? All of these external ways of proving something, you can kind of discredit them or criticize them or doubt them, right? But internal proof, if I actually help you solve a fucking problem right here and right now, right? It's undeniable. You can't question it because you had a problem. Now I solved it. So the proof is internal. It's done. Your trajectory, your path in life has forever been changed because I removed the problem or an obstacle and set you on a different path. It's done. The proof is there. And I will forever have embedded myself within your mind because I became a part of your history in life, the path you had through life, because I actually affected it by solving a problem or removing an obstacle or overcoming a challenge. And that's why when you can help reframe people's perspective, right? Remove self-limiting beliefs or give them insights so they understand something better, so they take a different course of action. All of those things are types of internal proof. They're undeniable. So when you share your perspective or your insights or your frameworks, and you get people to take action on it, you change their path in life, and that's internal proof, right? One form of internal proof. It's through insight and perspective and giving knowledge, and then they take action on it. Now, if you were on a call, we circle back to it now, you got a book call, they don't know who the fuck you are because you don't have a personal brand, and they haven't been referred to you, which means they are cold, right? And they're on the call with you and you want to convert them, right? Guess what? It's not going to happen if your strategy session is a high pressure sales call. It's going to seem pushy and you are going to seem needy and they just won't trust you. Now, if the problem is big enough so they're just basically willing to do whatever or try whatever to get it solved, well, you might convert them, right? People have nothing to lose, right? And the problem is big enough, they will basically throw money at anything. Like if I have cancer, right? And I'm about to die, and there's a bum on the street that says he has the cure. And I know if I don't do something, I'm gonna buy it, even though it's in a brown paper bag. And why not? Why the fuck not? Right? That's not what we're dealing with here. If we're dealing with something where the problem isn't that big and people aren't willing to try anything, you're gonna actually have to do the work on that strategy session. And strategy session, a lot of the times, it's a disguised sales call, like I said, and people don't like it, right? And people can smell it out, right? And so what you do, you first and foremost, and this also depends on that you can actually help people and that you have integrity and you only sell to the people that you can actually help, right? And that you are willing to prove it. So I want you to change your perspective on the calls you have from a strategy session or a sales call into a workshop. This is going to take more time, but your close rate is going to become bigger. You can cherry pick the customers you want to work with, the clients you want to work with, and you can increase your prices, which means that you're going to have less call and better clients that you can actually help, which means that they will start to give you the testimonials and the case studies that you need to funnel back into your marketing, to fuel it, to give you that social proof, right? Full circle. That's why it's an ecosystem. And so, how do you do that? Well, if you look at your regular strategy session or sales call, what you typically do is you find out where people are and what it is they don't want and what it is they want. You find out where it is they want to go, and then you map out the bridge or the gap between and set in the milestones for how you can get them there. And yet you make an evaluation and estimation whether you can take them through that journey and get them to the place where it is they want to go. And then you sell them your help and assistance in getting them from point A to point B. It's very simple, but that's basically how it is. And so on your strategy session or your workshop, change your frame of mind into a workshop. You want to expand the time that they spend together with you to increase the know, like, and trust factor. You don't want to have it come across as a sales call. You want to have it come across as a very cool and very helpful and very friendly conversation where you're actually genuinely there to try to help them. And at the end of this conversation, right, where you mapped out the plan for them and giving them a results in advance, go back to that, right? Come back to that. At the end of that, there's no closing techniques. there's no there's no closing techniques. There's no whatever. You just say, do you want some help with this? Yes or no? Should we continue our work together? And if they say no, then say, okay, cool. So wish you the best of luck, and feel free to get back if you want my help. And of course, you're gonna follow up with them. Now, the way you do that on that call is you give them a result in advance on that call. First, you very clearly map out what it is they want, right? First, they're going to dump all over you what they don't want, right? They're going to open up their heart and you just say, yeah, and you listen to them and you really try to understand their situation because you need them to feel heard from you. You need to kind of establish rapport and they need to feel that you understand them, right? Because if we sense that people don't have empathy with us and can't understand our situation, we fucking don't trust them. Step number one, listen. Don't try to force it. Listen to their problems, how they describe the situation. And then you segue into finding out specifically what it is they want. And ideally, you will want to put a number on that, like a certain amount of revenue increase in an established timeline, right? So what is it they want? Because we're in business development, right? So that's always going to be a tracked number. Now, in addition to that number, if you're building out their ecosystem and doing business development, it might also be different assets that they want to have built out, right? Or that you can provide them with. That is going to reinforce their marketing and sales ecosystem. It might be optimization of workflows and processes, building out SOPs, right? It might be layering on top different lead generation sources like cold email or ad campaigns or remarketing campaigns if they do not have it already. It might be the collection of testimonials to improve their marketing. It might be in the enhancement of their product. It might be constructing an ancillary product for them that they can use for an upsell, downsell, whatever. But like if you're into business development and you have broad horizontal skills, you know this, right? Or you shouldn't be a business development consultant and coach, right? So you know this. You know the diagnostics process, right? From basically top of funnel to bottom of funnel, from the start of the pipeline to the end, from ascension to value add. You know how to diagnose all this shit, right? Let's just assume that you know all of this, right? So you kind of map out where it is they want to go. You look into the assets that they have at their disposal. You look at the fucking numbers they have, right? You look at what's been working before historically for them, because a lot of time people just stop doing the things that works, right? So there's often something you can pull there, something that worked in the past, and then you can get them to start doing that again, and you can evergreen it, like put it in some type of automation, right? So ideally, what you want to do is establish a target number for a revenue increase, short term and long term, right? And you map up a plan. You map up the milestones for what it is you can provide for them, right? Is it more lead generation? Is it conversion rate optimization through the different stages of the pipeline or the funnel, right? Did you need to build out a new asset, right? About increasing margin and prices? Is it about creating a new product while doing lead generation, like a case study, a group or funnel? Like there's a million ways if you into business development where you can see the overall picture that they can't, right? Which also means that you need to constrain yourself a bit, which means that you're looking for ideally the one thing that will give them a quick revenue surge in a very short period of time, like 4 to 8 weeks. So your fee pays for itself. That's number one, right? If the service you provide basically means that it pays for your fee in a very short period of time, and the changes that you have made in your business from that point going on is pure evergreen revenue or consistent revenue, well, guess what? They're going to like it, right? Turn on investment. Number two is you want to establish like intermediate points and long-term objectives, right? And you also want to take into consideration whether this is doable in terms of the resources and the assets that they have at their disposal and also their time, right? Because I can map out the most ingenious plan of how to make you grow and scale, but if you can't execute on it, right, doesn't fucking work. So you need to take the person into consideration that's sitting across from you. You need to take the stakeholders that's in the company into consideration. You need to really diagnose this business, right? And to do this from this overview perspective, really do it's going to take you a couple of hours. It's just how it is. You're going to have to run through the numbers, run through the assets, run through the marketing and sales ecosystem. You're going to have to really look into it, like the company culture, the people that works there, how they're getting their leads, how they're converting their leads, are there drop-off points along the customer journey, do they have activation points to maintain the customer, what's the churn rates, what's the KPI. You have to run through everything, LTV to CAC ratio, ad spend, run through every single thing. And this isn't about teaching you how to do like this workshop. Preferably you wouldn't know this in advance, so you should really look into it. But this is just to say that you need to have all of this in place before you move forward to the second part of this workshop. Now, the second part of this workshop, because now you've already established where they are, where it is they want to go, the milestones that you need to take them through to get there for the short term, intermediate, and long term. You mapped out a roadmap, and you got them excited about this, right? You use your coaching and communication skills to kind of future pace them into that situation so they have a desire to go there, right? And they believe in you and they believe in the plan, and you are in agreement that this is a very viable, very beneficial course of action, right? And now comes your, how do you say, your main advantage, right? The thing that's going to hit the nail on the head, right, is that through this process, you're going to identify something where you can give them an immediate result right then and there on that fucking workshop call, right? It's not just a plan that they're fully bought into. You are going to help them engineer or get an immediate result right then and there that has an actual value to them that they will normally have to pay for, right? Just to kind of remove any type of doubt of anything, to show your competence, right? Like a live demonstration. And this is the key part of it, right? Because you're effectively giving or helping them get something and changing their trajectory in their life. It's internal proof. It's like it's already done. It's not like a fancy plan that they then have to execute on or pay you money and then they start the process. No, you're gonna fucking start the process right then and there for free, giving them value in advance, right? You're going to do it. And here, before we move in, because I'm going to tell you some of the key ways you can do it, before we move into that and go into the specifics, there is, of course, a caveat to this. And that is that the clients you have on these workshops, right? Ideally, your price point would be sufficiently high that it justifies the time investment. That's number one. And number two is you need to screen who you have on these workshops, which means that you're going to have a discovery call before you move into the workshop session. And that's just a 15-minute conversation or an intake form that they fill out. Ideally, you would have all three, right? Like a quick questionnaire that they fill out to see whether or not they qualify. Then you jump on a quick 15-minute call and say, so and so and so, this is what we do. You kind of, you're just listening for whether or not they're a weirdo or a tire kicker. Do they have humor? Do they sound like normal? Can they confirm that they're willing to invest? Just ask them. Most people don't like to lie. Just ask them. So, and give them their price. Just say, so if we move forward with this workshop, right? You do know this is like a 20 to 30K price point, depending on the deliverables and the timeline, the scope of the project. But this is the general range. It can be lower if it's like a specific thing, but this is your price range. This is the scope of the project for this type of thing or whatever it is, right? Whatever your price point is, put it out there unapologetically, right? And say, if we go through this workshop, right? And everything works, are you willing to invest? Do you have the money to invest? It's of course always going to be your decision, but are you willing and able to invest and get their buy-in, right? And then you make an assessment and then you schedule in that workshop right then and there, right? In the story. Now, if you want to further put in like a screening mechanism to weed out the tire kickers, you can put in place basically a reservation fee, right? Or so where you say, so they say, yeah, we are willing and we are able, if everything turns out and you can do what it is you say, the workshop was really great, we will of course buy your service. Well, then you say, well, I think that sounds amazing. And so just to be sure that I'm not wasting your time and you're not wasting mine, I would like to book you in right here and right now. Now that comes with a $1,000 or $500 reservation fee, booking fee, and we will deduct it from the final price point. And if you show up to the call and you run through the workshop and you don't want to move forward with me, that's of course okay. And you will of course be refunded. Now, this is just to make sure that the people I book into my calendar are actually willing to show up and willing to put some skin in the game to show that they are, that they're dedicated to this, right? And if you're dealing with a person that wants business development of like a higher price point and they need it in their business and they're not just there to kick tires and they are making money in their business and you want to help them with some business development, those people will, without the blink of an eye, put down a $1,000 deposit. And if they won't, they're probably not your ideal customer anyway, right? The caveat to this is that if they don't want to move forward, you fucking repay them. You refund them immediately for whatever reason. That's it. There is no, but you keep the money if they don't show up. You make that very clear to them. You say, listen, but if you don't show up for whatever reason, I keep the money, right? Because you basically blocked a spot inside my calendar that I could have been, like, they pay for the opportunity cost, right? If they don't show up, because that's time that you could have leveraged for another client or potential client, right? So have that pre-screening and discovery call session. And if you want to add on a little more screening and installation, you can add in the reservation or the booking fee, right? Now, let's get into that second half of that workshop call, right? So you have the plan all mapped out. Now you move into the undeniable proof of your competence, right? And so I'm just going to throw out some things I used in the past that I know works really, really well and that are very quick to implement. And it's probably going to take you an hour and a half. So you might be looking at like it's almost like a half day consult, right? That you're giving away for free. And so that's why you need to screen these people to make sure that they're actually willing to pay, and you need to have a higher price point. And that's what you're going to have if you're doing business development for small to mid-sized businesses anyway, and you're not just selling off some random SaaS that is plug and play. So you will have accurately diagnosed some gaps or some like small things that you can optimize, problems you can solve, and there will be something in there that will be incredibly valuable for the client and completely obvious to you that is so easy. Why haven't they done it before? Now, let me list out a couple that works really, really well and that can be done very quickly on such a workshop. Number one, do they have a fucking pop-up on their funnel or on their web page, right? It's a very easy way to increase opt-ins, right? If they don't have it, you can go in and you can immediately build it out in whatever website or funnel software they have, depending on the system, of course. Now, if they have a general WordPress website, there are tools you can buy to basically make that happen, right? If they have a sales page without a video, you can offer to quickly record a little video with them where you can take them through the process of constructing this video, like a mini VSL, like the who, what, why, how script, or there's different frameworks you can use for that. You can look them up. Basically, you can record a mini VSL or a welcome video, and then you can embed it in their website, or you can with a CTA in it, or you can use something like FacePop, which is like a tool where you have a little interactive video that pops up on their website. You can embed it immediately, right? Another thing you can use, if they don't have a chat widget on their page, you can have like an AI chatbot, or I use something called AnyChat that you can buy for basically a white label agency plan through AppSumo sometimes, and which means that you have an infinite amount of these chat widgets that you can just embed on their website, and that can link to different types of their communication, their social media. You can do all kinds of things with AnyChat. If they don't have a chat widget, that's actually very valuable because it's going to capture more leads on their website if they have sufficient traffic that it will actually matter to them. Another thing is, do they have an order form bump, right? Is there a way where you can look at their offer structures and the different products and price points that they have, where you can very quickly plug in either an upsell, a downsell, or an order form bump, right? You can do that very quickly if you know what you're doing, right? Can you bundle and package up some of the products and give like a engineer into like a special discount, buy everything kind of thing? Do they have a list that they haven't? Because remember, you're going through their assets, right? So, for instance, do they have a list that they haven't been communicating with, right? Three-step reactivation campaign, free emails for a reactivation campaign, and then an offer, right? You could build that out right then and there with them, plug it into their whatever autoresponder email tool that they use, and press play, right? And that's gonna bring in money, like a reactivation campaign or an email campaign that will bring in money immediately is actually very, very, very good for immediate revenue. It could also be, and so you're gonna have to estimate whether that is something you save for when you have the buy-in to the plan, and that, and then because a reactivation campaign or an email sequence that generates money from the list is something that could, where if you're into email marketing, we just fucking know that that can make a substantial amount of money in a very short period of time. And so that could be like your short-term revenue boost that kind of pays for your consultant fee, right? So you need to make an estimation as to whether or not you want to give this away for free right then and there, right? So you need to use your brain here and give away value, but also make sure that you over deliver once they hire you, right? But it could also be something in terms of email marketing, right? The 4-day cash campaign for Frank Kern is so fucking awesome, right? You can engineer it to runs out once in a month, right? But also it could be like an old webinar they have lying around, or an old workshop, or just some recordings where they're providing value, and you can just plug and play them into like a workshop or a like a simple page with a video on it. You can drive people to that page, or you can start to run ads to it, and there's a CTA and an offer. You can construct a new offer or a campaign offer for that, right? You can do that if you're very good in a very short period of time. And like if they're running cold email, you can always plug in a campaign for that, right? The people that run cold email tend to have that pretty much dialed in, right? It might also be like you pull out, like if it's an information business, you can pull out like a splinter product, a little thing that you can run as a lead magnet or a front end offer, and maybe you increase the average card order size or the people that convert on the opt-in page. Now, if they have for instance, a funnel where people, once they go to the upsell, it tends to convert, but the initial front end offer doesn't convert, just remove that front end offer and drive traffic to the main offer, right? The upsell. So you can reconfigure it, but that takes a little bit of copywriting, stuff like that. So that's like a bigger thing, but like you get the general idea, right? And there's forms of communication that you can use that will provide them value. And then there's tools that you can buy and give for free, like the chat widget or the face pop or whatever it is. Now, another thing you can do is record on the online whatever. You can record a mini VSL, or you can just have the phone set up at a side angle up here while they watch the laptop, and you can just prompt them through scripts and have them make side angle content for social media. You can very quickly pop out like 10, 15, basically brand building content where they speak about their vision, their mission, like a couple of CTAs of their offer. It's huge if you plug it into social media and they have sufficient traffic to those channels. Um, Something else you could do is you could implement a retargeting campaign if they have some type of ad campaign that they're running and they're not running a retargeting campaign, or they have very high performing content runner. You can very quickly set up a retargeting campaign to a secondary piece of content that might be longer form, or to a lead magnet, right? There's a lot of things that you can immediately diagnose and say, this is a small thing that will have like a sufficient impact, and we can fix it right now in the course of an hour because you know how, right? give them that result in advance, and then wrap it up, right? And then recap that plan you have for them and say, so yeah, we did this thing. I'm so happy. That should give you something to start with. This is the short and long term plan. Do you want some help with this? Do you want to move forward? And like, if you solve a problem for them right then and there and show your capabilities and your competence, and they like working with you, it's also a possibility for you to show off your fucking personality, right? And just have a laugh, and then just do some shit, and then walk away from that online session with you, and something actually got done that's gonna have a long-term impact, right? And maybe even a quick result. And they have fucking clarity for a plan moving ahead, right? And you gave them that confidence, and they feel good after working together with you. Because listen, they might forget, they might fully understand the totality or every single piece of the plan. There might be something that they're not buying into, or they're like, they say yes, but in actuality, there's things they want to change. But if you make them feel understood and you work together with them, and they like working with you as a person, and they walk away with a roadmap and a plan, and they feel good, and something got done, right? Shit got done, and they have proof of concept, they have 80% of them will fucking convert. That's just a fact. And your follow up for this is so simple, because the follow up message is just a proposal where you specify the deliverables of that long term project, right? And ship it to them. Very simple follow up. I will advise that, unless they have something against it, that you record this session. And now I'm actually going to give you like a main thing that you can do. This is something that I've been using a lot, and it's not something you can do with them on the call, but it's something you can ship for them after the call to kind of further enhance and provide value. Because you're going to run through a shit ton of information in their business, right? You're going to give them the full value, really try to understand them. So the question becomes, when they walk away and you ship that proposal for them, listen, a lot of them will close right then and there, right? If they close then and there, you take payment, and then you give them this thing I'm going to tell you about as an over deliver. If they don't close right then and there, you ship them the proposal, and then at the same time, you're going to give them this thing that I'm going to tell you right now. And this thing is, you're going to make a custom GPT tool that helps them solve a problem. That problem could be like in terms of writing out communication, or it could be like a diagnostics tool. Like, if you can make a custom GPT for them, right, that helps them in their business, write emails, customer responses, whatever. It doesn't need to be fucking fully automated or whatever. It doesn't need to be AI. Whatever. A lot of small to medium-sized business owners, they are not AI optimized. They're not looking like on N8N or Make.com automations, right? Integromat. Not looking for that. They're just looking for, like, they can pull up their phone and they can click in on Chat GPT, and they can press the record button, then talk to an AI as if they would talk to a fucking employee, and then that what they brain dump into that AI is transcribed, and the AI give them some sort of output that they can then copy and paste into an email, like. And you can make different. I have different tools for that. I have like email generators. I have like a proposal generator. I have like consulting models. I have a bunch of different tools. And if you record that call and you do your best and you really deep dive into what it is their business is all about, their objectives, their problems, their pain points, the things that you can help them solve in their business, what happens is you can use that transcript or that information you take on your notepad to customize that. If you have like templatized AIs where you have construct them through a lot of the information that makes things work, right? You can have a conversion rate optimization GPT, and you brain dump that specific company or client's information into that GPT, so it's customized to their specific needs, and you then train it to respond depending on how you interacted with the client, and then you gift it to them. Say, yeah, take this. This AI can do XYZ for them. And then you record a little Loom video where you show them, you just pull up your phone, you speak to it, puts very valuable output, and then boom, it's done. And that's a very big thing, a very, very helpful gift that also pushes people over the fence. And if they're already bought, it's just an over deliver. Give them a fucking free AI tool, right? And they'll have fun. And they might even reach out. I actually had a guy that didn't want to, commit to the whole fucking plan, but I ended up coaching him on how to use the fucking AI through the phone. It was like the thing he wanted to learn. And then, yeah, it escalated from there. It's so funny. Anyways, if you change, just to recap this whole thing, if you want to sell something to someone and have them convert, that means that there needs to be a relationship between you and that person. They need to know, like, and trust you. They need to have proof of concept. Ideally, that proof of concept will be internally, which means that it's already done. You help them solve a problem, right? You want them to spend time together with you. So if you don't have content out there on social media that can pre-sell them, or you don't have a long form piece of like a webinar or whatever, or you don't have a long lead magnet that they can read, or an email newsletter that they can read over and over and over again, like long form that kind of gets them to be bought into your world and who you are and what it is you do. If you don't have something where you can establish that relationship through time spent together, then you're going to have to do it on the sales call. And that's why your sales call or your strategy session can't be a disguised sales call. You need to shift your perspective on it and then re-engineer it into a workshop where you really dive deep into their business, their objectives. You map everything out, you blueprint it so they have a very clear roadmap that gives them confidence and clarity. They want to move ahead with this, right? And then to kind of give them like your main, I don't want to, jackpot or trumf mechanism in Danish. It's like a trump card is that you actually help them solve something on that call right then and there that is actually valuable for them and they would normally have to pay for. And in that whole process of you first having a conversation with them where you listen to them and they feel understood and they start to share with you, you establish rapport. And then when you go into the second part where you actually help them solve a problem, they experience how it is to work together with you. And you experience how it is to work together with them. Because remember, you might not want to move forward with this. So it's actually also an advantage for you to kind of figure out, do I really want to work with this guy for 3 to 6 months or a year or whatever, right? Is this for you? Because as a coach or consultant or any type of expert where you provide your knowledge and your skills as a service, the client you work together with really fucking matters for your quality of life, right? So ideally, you will have the ability to cherry pick the clients you want to work with. And you can do that by putting content out there that pre-sells people. Then you have like a quick little discovery call to see if they're a weirdo or if they're a fit. And then you just accept payment because they're pre-sold. Or if you don't have that, you can have like this long workshop. And you, of course, need to have like the screening mechanisms in place. So you only go on these long workshop calls with the people, right, that you think is a fit, right? So it's basically just to confirm that they're the right client for you, right? And you, like we spoke before, you spoke about before, you can have the classic questionnaire or survey or intake homework You can then have a quick discovery call, and then you can also have a deposit if you want to make sure that, root out the tire kickers. And then you have this long workshop call, and then you can have the follow-up proposal, right? If they don't buy it right then and there, and like 50% will do it immediately, and then the remainder will close in a very short period of time. You can send them that proposal, and then you can over deliver a custom AI. Like if you master that sales process, right, and you have sufficient lead gen of qualified clients to it, you're going to be very happy with the way you work and the way you live your life. So yeah, that's just the way I kind of evolved into running some of my sales calls as workshops, right? To really demonstrate my value to the clients I want to work with. Because like I said before, there were like external circumstances that made it impossible for me to kind of start to put content out there and build a personal brand. And referral also really wasn't an option. So I really had to dive or dig deep and find a way for me to convert cold people on a call, which is fucking hard, right? But if you can do that, sky's the limit. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this today. I'm going to reverse engineer this into a little guide that's in the description that you can uh, download and look at if you want. If you want to work together with me, feel free to reach out. There's also going to be probably somewhere in the description some link for whatever it is service I provide, in terms of business development or whatever. Check that out down below. And thank you for spending this time together with me. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. I hope it helped you. It helps you out a lot. Like, this full process can take some time for you to implement or get dialed in. And even if you have like marketing that pre-sells you out there will be components of this that you can use, right? And so this is Casper SK. Thank you for spending time with me today. That rhymed. Um, See you next time.